tired again about the union. This, however, is my last opportunity to talk to you on this subject. And I really appreciate you coming here and listening to what I have to say. I'll not keep you long. On Wednesday, the decision will be yours. I urge you to approach that decision carefully, earnestly, thoughtfully. Within recent weeks, indeed within recent days, there is a general and rising trend of feeling which should help to guide you. More and more people, having now studied this matter, are definitely reaching the conclusion that this union has serious drawbacks and danger in it. Already, they are beginning to see the buildup of friction and tension and fear that a union can bring. They see people who have been friends turning against each other. They hear about an increased number of anonymous telephone calls, about union organizers writing down the license number of automobiles of people who don't want to talk to them, about cars being followed at night, and people calling the police for protection against them, about union pressure groups going around in stores uptown to warn people not to talk against the union. People naturally worry that if this is starting already, how much worse might it be if the union becomes established here? But the union, of course, will say, the union is not to blame. We are not causing these things to be done. To this, there is a very sensible answer. Things certainly were not happening like this before the union came in. And there is one sure way of making certain that these things don't keep on happening and don't get worse and worse. And that is, vote against this union coming in here on Wednesday. There's a sure and simple way of preventing strikes and violence at these plants and in this community. And that is by a majority of you voting no in this election on Wednesday. There's a sure and simple way of making certain that this union will not get any part of your paycheck. And that is by voting a majority no on Wednesday. There's a sure and simple way of preventing union pushes from getting to the shop stewards and committeemen and controlling you and your affairs. And that is by a majority of you voting no on Wednesday. There's a sure and simple way of preventing your personal rights and individual independence from being transferred into the hands of others. And that is by a majority of you voting no on Wednesday. The other day, an employee came to my office and asked me a question, and I answered his question. He thanked me and left. It seems clear that he promptly went to the union and made a report there. For the union has since then advertised the conversation I had with the employee. What the employee asked me was, if the union comes in here, will the company close down the plants? I told him no, the company would not do so. The union, of course, does not state what experience shows to be full fact. Namely, that though the company won't close down the plants, the union may close them down and take whatever means may be necessary in order to do so. The union certainly cannot deny that it has closed down many a plant. In this connection, I noticed there is a very important thing which the union has not denied since we brought it to your attention, both in the talk that I first made to you and in the letter Mr. Sutherland and I sent you. This is the fact that the union cannot legally require the company to do anything that the company is not willing to agree to. And that if the union pulls you out on strike, trying to force the company to agree, then the company has a right to fill the job for those who see fit to go out on this strike. And those whose jobs are filled while they are out on such a strike have no right automatically to return to their jobs or to get their jobs back, even when the strike is ended. Nor can they draw any unemployment pay while they are out on such a strike. The union has not denied any of this. The union cannot truthfully deny any of that. In not denying it, the union admits that such strike possibilities and consequences may face each and every one of you. These possibilities and consequences in and of themselves would seem very significant reasons, indeed very compelling reasons, not to let this union in here. Likewise, I notice that the union has not denied the fact on another matter which is very crucial to you, and indeed to all of us. We have told you, and have also put it in writing to you, that at the same time this union is trying to get you to vote for it, it is planning a nationwide drive called a boycott to kill the sale of all Stevens products and thereby shut down the jobs of all Stevens employees. On this subject, the union has now written you some slippery words to the effect that we can't prove that the union officials told the company they are preparing to do this. So the union is ducking behind a claim their words can't be proven on them. But the vital point is that they do not deny that they are now planning this nationwide ban on everything manufactured by Stevens employees. They carefully avoid denying that. So it stands undenied that right now, as they ask you to vote for them, they are hiding behind their backs and acts which they are going to wield against all Stevens employees, including you, even though you vote for them. How do you feel about voting for somebody who is going to hit you in the head with an axe, even though you vote for him? We have challenged the union to put it in writing that they are not in fact planning to do this to you or on this boycott matter. The truth is, they are planning to hurt you, and they won't deny that they are so planning. Yet, this is a union that has told you that it wants to get in here in order to look at you and your best interest. How many things has the union told you which look entirely different when you get into the facts about them? They talk about some extra high rates of pay here or there or yonder in unionized plants. Yet tens of thousands of employees who are supposed to be getting these high rates are not getting them at all because they are not working at all. And in many cases, their plants have closed down and gone out of business entirely. In fact, it is in the highly unionized areas that this is most drastically true. They talk to you about the Tenney Company over in Wilmington. Yet, right now, we have applications for jobs here from people now working at Tenney. And there are people now working here who left jobs at Tenney to come here. They have a union. And speaking of the Tenney Company, did you know that recently Tenney permanently closed down a plant up north, which for years has had this same union? The people in that plant pay their money to this same textile workers, AFL-CIO union, year after year. Now, what protection is this union to them? What protection is the union to the people over at Roanoke Rapids, where they have had the union in since last summer? The organizers tried to lead you to believe that the union is shielding the Roanoke Rapids employees from the effects of the present recession. But there is not a word of truth in that. Hundreds of employees have been laid off at the Roanoke Rapids plant. There are 600 less people working there than when the union came in. Union organizers deceive you when they try to lead you to believe that they can control such matters. They do not and cannot. And what have they gained for the employees who voted them in at Roanoke Rapids? Not 1 cent in wages or benefits, beyond what you and other Stevens employees are already getting. Now I want to remind you once more that your right to vote as you choose, and as you now believe to be wise and best, is not affected at all by your having signed a union card. You are now completely free to vote against the union, no matter how many union cards you may have signed. I also understand there are some of you who were on the union side a while back and who now want to turn away from the union and come over to the company side, but that you are concerned that the company may hereafter let you go, or in some manner retaliate against you because of your having formerly been on the union side. I want you to know that you need not have any worries about this. I want to give you the definite assurance that any who have been on the union side but now want to turn away from the union can do so in complete confidence. You are not going to be punished in any way, whatever, because of your having been at one time on the union side. As I come down to the conclusion of this discussion, I want to quote to you what one of the highest federal courts, the United States Court of Appeal, has written about this textile workers, AFL-CIO union. This was in a case in which the employees of a sizable textile plant of the Kaiser Roth Company had voted this union into their plant. Not long after that, the union, trying to force the company to agree to what it demanded, shut the plant down and prevented the employees from working there. The court held that in doing so, the union had committed extremely violent and unlawful acts against the company and against the employees. The union tried to get the United States Supreme Court to change their ruling, but the Supreme Court refused to do so. Last year, the union, under court order, had to pay more than $1.25 million for the unlawful damage it had caused in that case. Incidentally, where do you suppose the union got that $1.25 million to pay under that court order? There's only one source from which the union got it, from the pockets and paychecks of textile employees who had voted for it, as they are now asking you to do. Now, as I say, I want to quote to you what the court said about the union and its official leaders. The court said, involvement of the union in the violent and unlawful activities During the strike, it's demonstrated most clearly by the actions of the union international representatives. During the course of the strike, these union officials personally supervise and control the activities of the strikers. The official court findings were that employees' cars were blocked, stoned, and overturned, and they attempted to enter or leave the plant, and that the union officials instructed the strikers to stop employees from entering the plant by any means they could, including stripping off their clothes, and that there were numerous acts of extreme violence. Is that what we want here? What union did that? It was the same Textile Workers AFL-CIO union, which is now at the gates of these plants. It is exactly the same union which at this moment is asking you to vote for it and bring it in here and place yourselves and your future in its hands and follow its lead. We understand today, we stand today at the crossroads. Which way would you choose? Think about these things. Think about them carefully, seriously, earnestly. We have said to you before, and we say to you again in all sincerity, that after you have studied the whole matter thoroughly, we believe you will surely come to the conclusion in your own good judgment that you stand to lose if this union were to get in here. And you stand to gain by keeping it out. I thank you for your attention, and we will stand adjourned.
When American industry started to grow, it wasn't long before the workers knew they needed some protection. That's when they formed unions. By joining together, the workers helped make sure that everyone got fair treatment. The plants got cleaned up and made safer, and working conditions improved. That sounds easy, but it wasn't. Now, industry is starting to boom in the South. As it grows, we got to be sure our workers don't lose out. A good union contract may be the best protection a worker has. It puts everything down in writing, so there's fewer misunderstandings. It's the democratic way for a worker to have a say about his job. Now, I love the South. I'm proud of it, and I want to see it grow. But I want to be sure our working people are protected, and the unions can help. This is a message from the thousands of Carolina union families working together to help keep the South a good place to live and to work. The Union Families of the Carolinas. You know, it just doesn't seem fair. I saw some government statistics that show the average wage in the Carolinas is only $4.83 an hour. Why, that's almost $1.70 less than the national average of $6.50 an hour. Now, the point is, a lot of people will tell you it costs a lot less to live in the South. But those same figures show it costs more to live in Durham than in St. Louis, only a little less than Pittsburgh, Cleveland, or Detroit. Now, that just doesn't seem fair. Our workers in the South need some wage protection. A good union contract may be just about the best protection a worker has. A good union contract can provide for cost-of-living increases and fair compensation for the hours they work. A contract can help make sure everyone is treated fairly. A lot of Carolina families agree with me. They're working together to help keep the South a good place to live and to work. The Union Families of the Carolinas. Things have changed since I was a boy, thank goodness. Prices are higher today, but you had to work a lot longer for a loaf of bread then. 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and young boys were working those hours too. There weren't health benefits or paid vacations or overtime pay. Industrial accidents were so common, most newspapers didn't even report them. It's better now. One of the reasons is because of unions. Workers joining together so they'll have a say about their jobs. Unions helped clean up the plants and made them safer places to work. Unions helped workers add dignity to their lives. Every working person, whether they're union or not, should thank the unions for making working life a lot better than when I was a boy. A lot of Carolina families agree with me. They're working together to help keep the South a good place to live and to work. The union families of the Carolinas. I remember once driving by a football stadium and hearing 50,000 people hollering and making all kinds of racket. Heard 'em over a block away, and I got to thinking, if only one person was making that racket, I wouldn't have heard him like I heard those 50,000. The unions are a lot like that. One worker doesn't have much chance of being heard, but when workers join together, they've got a pretty loud voice. Then they have a democratic voice in decisions affecting their jobs. That's what unions are all about, democracy on the job. Heck, no worker wants to put his company out of business or cut its profits. That'd be foolish. America needs strong companies, and companies need profits. But every worker deserves to have a say about his working conditions. That's only fair. A lot of Carolina families agree with me. They're working together to help keep the South a good place to live and to work. The union families of the Carolinas. Government statistics show the average wage in the Carolinas is almost $1.70 less than the national average, and those same figures show it costs more to live in Durham than it does in St. Louis. That just doesn't seem fair. Our workers need some wage protection, and a good union contract may be the best protection a worker has. A lot of Carolina families agree. They're working together to help keep the South a good place to live and to work. The union families of the Carolinas. I heard a refreshing conversation the other day. Some workers talking about wanting their companies to prosper and wanting to do a good job.
I'd like to see the company prosper. Definitely. I make my living there. But I'd like to prosper along with it.
I hope they do good. I mean, I know for in order to me to keep a job where I could keep a pretty nice paycheck coming into me, that they have to do pretty good. So, I'm willing to do everything I can to see that they do good. And I figure everybody else should feel the same way.
I really want to do the best job that I possibly can. All I ask that I get fair treatment from the company. This is what organized labor is. We're working together. If we make good for the company, I think they should do good for us.
A union contract means a better way of life. It's about the best protection you can have. This message is from the Carolina union families working to help keep the South a good place to live and work. It's hard to get by on your own, but working together makes a difference. The other day, some Carolina workers were telling how unions add fairness and protection.
We've got a contract, and it's wrote out, agreed to by the company and the union. And to me, it's just like walking under an umbrella in a rainstorm, You've got protection.
I would say a union gives a person the right to stand up and speak his right and be heard. When his rights have been trespassed on, he could feel that there'd be somebody standing behind him and say, hey, fella, I'm with you, hang on. It gives a man that sense of security to know that he's not alone in this struggle.
To me, a union is a group of people fighting for what they feel is right.
A union contract means a better way of life. It's about the best protection you can have. This message is from the Carolina union families working to help keep the South a good place to live and work. Heard some folks talking the other day, talking about how hard it is to get by, and they were talking about how their union helps make life better.
Everything goes up with the wages for the workers, so we can't keep up. The rich man gets rich, but we have to pay the same price as he does. So when I pull up to a gas tank to fill up, I'm going to have to pay the same to get that unleaded gas as he does.
A contract would definitely make a difference, because with the contract, we can make more and have better benefits and make a better life, not just for us, but for our families.
We are working towards economic and social justice for everybody. We believe that if you get out there and you work and give your sweat and blood, that you should enjoy some of the good things in life too.
A union contract means a better way of life. It's about the best protection you can have. This message is from the Carolina Union families working to help keep the South a good place to live and work. The other day, I met an interesting man, and while we were talking, he told me about his union and how he thinks it can make life a whole lot better for everyone. Said the best thing about a union was the people working together.
The union, to me, is a way for people to help each other. When you're by yourself, it's a lonely, lonely world. But when you can join in a group and work together, that's what organized labor is to me. It's a group of people that have joined together. They can't do it by themselves, but together they can do it. Together they can lift themselves up and give themselves a place of dignity in their community, and they can have some of the good things in this great United States of ours.
A union contract means a better way of life. It's about the best protection you can have. This message is from the Carolina Union families working to help keep the South a good place to live and work. Seems to me there's not much you can count on these days. That's why my ears perked up when I heard some workers talking. They were saying that because of their union, they've got job security and benefits that help cushion the hard times. That's really important these days.
The security that you get out of a union is the most important to me. Other people might look at raises, holidays and this, that, and the other. I think job security, when you're raising a family especially, means more than anything else. And you do have this through a union.
We have a full paid medical insurance program on our whole family. We have major medical. 3 years ago, I had surgery that just the doctor alone was $750. Had I not had the insurance, there's no way in the world I could have come up with the money to have had the surgery.
A union contract means a better way of life. It's about the best protection you can have. This message is from the Carolina Union families working to help keep the South a good place to live and work. I was talking to a friend the other day. He was saying that his union makes a difference in his life. With a union, he said, everything's done in writing, so it's fair.
When I went to work and I joined the union, why, suddenly I became equal to everybody else. The supervisor couldn't take his brother-in-law and give him a special rate for doing the same job I was doing. But everybody got the same pay scale for the same job. This made me somebody. I thought I'd done died and went to heaven, when I joined the union, because it just made me equal. And they couldn't discriminate against me. And if they did discriminate against me, I had somewhere to go. And I think this is the secret to the whole thing. You've got somewhere to go. You've got somebody to tell your problems to.
A union contract means a better way of life. It's about the best protection you can have. This message is from the Carolina Union families working to help keep the South a good place to live and work.